Hello everybody, good morning. Welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Ben Foster. Football's back. The international football is crap. And, well, Ben, some people seem to think Manchester United might be a bit crap, that it was a bit of a false dawn. I got a lot of stick after the watch-along yesterday from people saying, stop gloating about a 3-0 win. You're too happy. We weren't that good. Everton had lots of chances. 5 wins from the last 6. I've got a good question for you. Hello, by the way.
Hello. Morning, mate.
Morning. You played for Birmingham City. I remember the Fantasy Premier League days. You'd grind a lot of 1-0s out. You were brilliant with Roger Johnson and Scott Dan at getting the clean sheets.
Good memory.
And you'd have a run like that where you might win 5 out of 6 because you were playing teams from a certain area of the league. Roy Keane said this after the game yesterday. He said, look, it's good. 5 out of 6 is very, very good. Yeah. But they're not beating the top teams. In fact, they've lost all 4 against the top 10 this season, apparently. What do you think about United at the moment? Because it's a renaissance from Ten Hag, but is it a bit of a false dawn?
I know what you're saying. I think what Roy Keane is talking about is, you're not beating the big teams, but still, you do have to beat the smaller teams, and it's not that easy to do. And there are a lot of teams that are probably better than Man United that will struggle to beat the amount of teams that Manchester United have beaten. Having said that, watching the game yesterday, I did think Man United were awfully lucky. Awfully lucky.
Chances, didn't they,
some really good chances. Everton were really sort of wasteful in goal. Really, really wasteful in goal. But then this is the difference between Manchester United and Everton. And this is why Everton are where they are, because their XG all season has been incredible. They deserve They deserve to be probably higher in the league where they are. But they don't have the quality of players, the quality of finishers, that when they get in front of the goal to have that calmness to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. Manchester United do have those sort of players. The Garnacho goal, the thing from yesterday was the Garnacho goal was so massive because you knew that Everton and Goodison was going to be such a charged atmosphere. You knew that the crowd were going to be helping and willing Everton all the way through it. But that goal just takes the wind out their sails so quickly.
Yeah, first 5 minutes as well.
First 5 minutes so quickly, and everybody just sort of went, what the heck was that? That was outrageous.
What was your thoughts on that as a player that's played the game at the highest level? You've been in goal as well.
Yeah.
I mean, people talk about Pickford being England goalkeeper. I don't actually rate him that much. But as a goalkeeper and the technique, talk me through it. Keeper, can't do anything about it.
No, gosh, no. Nobody's expecting him to do that from there. And even when I saw him winding up to do it, I was thinking, don't do that.
I know, I thought exactly the same. I was about to go, what a prat.
Yeah, exactly that. What are you doing? Don't do that. Like, that's just a waste. You'd be able to take that ball down, maybe do a little bit of a turn and get a shot off or something. And to actually execute it and do it the way that he did, it's a once in a lifetime goal. It is. You don't even really get them in training. I swear to you don't even get them in training. I don't think he'll ever score a better goal than that. Yeah. But the technique, everything is absolutely perfect. And I think the reason why it looks so good as well is because it is quite literally on the end of his range. You see how it's so far away from him when he actually kicks it. It makes it look even better. The little loop over Pickford into the corner. It was a fantastic goal, wasn't it? Everybody knows that. Was it better than Rooney's?
I think it was. Well, the occasion of Rooney's is better,
exactly.
But the technique of Garnacho's was better. And I mean, I'm not a goalkeeper myself, but I was looking at Pickford. He's not like off his line, is he? He's in a good position. He gets off his feet.
It's unsavable because I know the ball only goes in kind of like sort of. It's just above mid-height where the ball actually goes in. But if you look at the arc of the ball and the loop of the ball is unsavable. You can't save it. It's because it's going to go over you all the way. And it was an incredible goal. But just going back to the game, I think Everton were so wasteful. I think if they would have hit back straight away, and they had chances straight away as well.
Well, I thought that we watched the Man City-Chelsea game before the international break, 4-4. I said in my match reaction yesterday, if I was an Everton fan, Man United maybe should have had another one. It should have been like a 3-3-4-all.
Easily.
If they could finish, that would have been a cracking game.
Again, I think Roy Keane said it. I think he said Sean Dyche should be scratching his head after this game as to how they've got nothing from it, how they haven't even scored a goal for one. Yeah. I understand. You're always going to concede goals against the good teams, against good strikers, but they should have scored at least 3 or 4 goals themselves. The penalty, it's a penalty. And that really just killed the game then from that point. Once you've got the second, then Everton are going to be pushing on and they're susceptible to a break. But yeah, I just think that even though it wasn't a fantastic performance, it's another win. And honestly, beating these teams regularly is a difficult thing to do.
It's a skill for Ten Hag because he did this a lot last season. But look, there's a lot of people who think, I mean, I don't really get the sort of Ten Hag out movement, but there are definitely people in the fan base that, I wouldn't say they didn't enjoy yesterday, but they're sort of like, I'm not convinced. Yeah. I'm not convinced. we have won 5 of the last 6. Ten Hag will come on the telly and say we're the most informed team in the Premier League, but we were crap against Luton, we were crap against Fulham, we weren't that good yesterday. What do you think happens? You have to acknowledge the wins, but what do you think happens when, like Newcastle away, Chelsea? To me, those two. Yeah. I enjoy those results and I take on board the concerns, but if they take their momentum and confidence and go and beat Newcastle, I think that's the thing they've got to do. They've got to go and beat a team from the top 10. Yeah, and if they do that, then maybe there is something building.
If they can start regularly beating your Chelseas and your Newcastles and even an Arsenal, maybe, if you can throw them into that, if you can give Liverpool a really good game, then that's when you can say, oh, yeah, fair enough. But
do you see that coming, though?
I don't know. I don't think I do at the minute, to be honest with you, because I think you can say, I think you just said there, actually, that they weren't great against Luton. They weren't great against. And I don't think it's necessarily that they weren't great. I just think that's where they are at the minute. I just don't think they've got the best team in the world. I really don't. I don't think they've got a fantastic group of players who gel together and they work in a certain way and they play a certain style of football. I just think that's just where they are at the minute.
What do you think about Marcus Rashford? Because he did take the penalty yesterday. Bruno gave him the penalty, which I think was, at that point in the game, was quite a brave thing to do, because if he missed that, 1-0, Everton were creating chances. So it was a big call by Bruno, and it was a good penalty, I thought, from Rashford. But he got a lot of criticism after the game. There's people doing little compilations of him. It's a puzzler with Marcus Rashford, because he sort of like his reaction to the goal as well was almost apologetic. It seems like he's just not in a very good headspace at the moment. And as a fan of his and somebody, I agree with Ten Hag. I actually think when he does start scoring, he's a form player, but it's just not happening for him at the moment. It doesn't look like it. When he keeps it simple, waits for the overlap, plays the little pass, fine. But you need more from Rashford, and when he tries to do more, it's just not working. He gets stuck under his feet, his shots are off, he just doesn't, he's on the right now instead of the left.
He doesn't look like he's enjoying much of anything at the minute, does he? He doesn't look like he's enjoying his football. He doesn't look like I say, when he scored the goal, he doesn't look exactly happy or anything like that. You don't ever see him running around with a smile on his face anymore, do you?
No, it's hard.
And even, I don't know if this is something or if I'm reading into it or not, but I think even in the wider world, on his social media, on some of the videos I've watched of him recently, he doesn't seem particularly happy or buoyant or joyed with life. Do you know what I mean?
Why would that be as a footballer? You've been around dressing rooms. The players hit a point in the mid-20s where they think that's my ceiling, or I've had this for 6 years, I'm a bit fed up of it. I mean, I know that to someone like me that sounds incredible, but ultimately nobody walks in anyone's shoes. Mental health can hit anybody, no matter how much money you've got. And I'm not saying it's mental health. I'm just saying, do you think there's a fatigue? He plays a lot of football, and some people can deal with that. I just find it odd, because I think he's such a good player, but he's so far off. And it's almost like Ten Hag's tried everything. I'll drop you, I'll pick you, I'll stick with you, I'll speak confidently about you, I'll take you out of the team. He won't play on Wednesday because he's suspended, so maybe that will inspire him against Newcastle. But you just don't know.
Yeah, it's literally as simple as that. You just don't know. You don't know what's going on in anybody's heads, do you? You just don't know.
It's like he needs a break. I remember Sir Alex doing it with Rooney once. He sent him away at Christmas. He might have even been at the club at the time. I mean, you can't probably do that with a player like that, but it almost does feel like
he needs a little refresh,
away from football, fall in love with it again.
Yeah, but you got to imagine, if you're Marcus Rashford, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you can't move. Do you know what I mean? If you walk out your front door, I guarantee you in Manchester there'll be paparazzi trying to take pictures of him walk out of his front door. Yeah. That wears you down, mate. That
does. I get it all the time.
I know, it'd be a nightmare, isn't it? But it's true though. Like how annoying would that be? Yeah. Genuinely, genuinely on a smaller scale. You go to the pub, you know that there's going to be somebody looking at you from over there.
I'd bank on it, mate. I don't take my card. I don't take my card. I just walk in.
I'll have a Guinness, please. Yeah.
He'll get me one.
But you know what it's like? You'll have somebody probably sneaky filming you. You know you'll have somebody trying to come up and talk to you. And sometimes you just want to go, mate, just leave me alone. I just want to have a pint and I just want to chill.
It'd be ridiculous at his level.
He can't do any of that. He can't do any of that. And maybe that might just be catching up with him a little bit, and he might just be getting a bit fed up with it all. But like I say, you don't know. All you can do is talk about his performances on the pitch, and they just haven't been great, have they, at the minute? But a goal is good for him. I don't know whether it's going to kickstart him into a bit better form or not. Strikers do feed off scoring goals, and it does improve their form. It does improve their mood. Strikers are a very egotistical bunch anyway, mate. Honestly, they are. So maybe if he can start scoring a few more goals, might put the smile back on his face, and he might start enjoying it a bit more.
Well, when you think about it, the penalty was the only chance he had as well.
Yes.
It
was a good penalty, though. It was a good penalty. Really good penalty, yeah. I hate that little stutter he does, by the way. Hate it. I hate the little run-up. But it was a fantastic penalty. It's unsavable.
Why do you hate it? Is it just because it's harder for the keeper? Or
No, I just think it's pathetic. I just don't see why you'd do that in the first place anyway. It looks good if you put the ball in the back of the net, but the very first time that the goalie saves it, everybody goes, "What are you stuttering for? What are you stuttering for?" You'd never walk up to passing the ball to somebody like that, would you? You'd run onto it and you'd give it a little slap.
Yeah, well, hopefully it can be the start of something, but he's not playing against Galatasaray now. Big week for Manchester United. Let's look ahead to that. Galatasaray away. If they don't win, they're basically out of the Champions League. And this is what I mean. I enjoy the Everton result because it's only going to last a couple of days, and then whatever happens against Galatasaray becomes the news, and then Newcastle. So it's a big week. What do you think in relation to that? I mean, Galatasaray, Newcastle, 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. What do you think?
Oh, mate, this could be anything. It's the same as what we've said all season with Man United. You can never, ever tell. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I really can't tell you what's going to happen. I remember we did the same sort of thing a couple of weeks ago before the international break, and it was Luton and it was Anderlecht.
Yeah.
And we said...
Feyenoord. No, Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, sorry. And we both said, hopefully it should be a 4 or 5-0 win against Luton. And then obviously the Copenhagen game will be an easy one. We'll win that one again 3 or 4-0. And then everybody feels good about it. And Luton struggled. And who was it?
Copenhagen
lost.
Yeah.
So, mate, Galatasaray away is some sort of a tough place to go.
Well, they're hostile, aren't they?
Well, if they've already come to Manchester and beat Man United at Old Trafford, so I don't know why people think they're going to be able to go to Galatasaray away and get a result from there. It's going to be so tough, and I can't see them winning there. I really can't see them winning there.
If they do come out of Galatasaray and Newcastle with wins, it could be the dynamite under the season, because if you can go to Everton, Galatasaray and Newcastle, they're all hostile in their own ways. Maybe not glamorously hostile like some of the bigger clubs, but they are. I mean, we saw Newcastle against Chelsea at the weekend. I mean, I fancied Chelsea and they just absolutely...
I would worry that Man United would struggle more against the Galatasaray away or the Newcastle away than any other team in the Premier League. I really do. Any of the bigger boys anyway. I would back an Arsenal or a Liverpool, a Man City, even an Aston Villa away at Galatasaray. I would back them more than Manchester United. I think that atmosphere would get in the Man United players more than any of these other teams.
Final question. Will United get top 4?
No.
Well, it's going to be Arsenal, Liverpool, City. Who's getting 4th then? This is up for grabs.
No, it's up for grabs. It's up for grabs for sure. I just think, I still do think, though, that probably Tottenham, even though they've had some bad injuries, and I do still think Aston Villa at the moment in time are still probably a little bit ahead of Manchester United. I really do.
I've completely forgot to ask you, what did you think about Kobbie Mainoo yesterday, 18 years
ago?
Oh,
fantastic. I love that. That's the sort of player that you want on the pitch, is that innocence, that assuredness, not bothered by what surrounds him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, he's playing for Man United and he's playing at Old Trafford, but he didn't care about any of that. He was just playing football for the football's sake. He didn't care what shirt he had on. He was playing football, and it was lovely to see, to be fair. He had a fantastic debut, and everybody should be really proud of that.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this morning when I was driving in. Obviously, I said a lot yesterday, but for me, this is the thing about Manchester United. That might be a one-off. It might be the start of something really special, but that's what a Man United player should do. They should stand out, and I think we get so accustomed to the McTominays, etc., who are okay. They're okay players, and we go, oh, they're okay, but they care. And that's what should happen in a Man United midfielder. You should be somebody who goes... that's why Roy Keane was bigging him up, because it's like he sees. I think he said that he played like a Man United player today. He wants the ball, he wants the responsibility, and he's got the quality.
Yeah, that's what Roy Keane based his whole career off. He didn't care who he was playing for. It didn't matter who he was playing. He could have been playing for a League Two team at the bottom of the league, and he would have still ran around like an absolute madman, shouting at everybody, trying to improve everybody, trying to lift everybody. Wants the ball, makes himself available, and that's what you saw of that lad yesterday. That's the sort of player Man United needs to sign.
100%. Thanks very much to Ben for coming on. Appreciate that. Get your comments in below. Is it a false dawn, or could this be the start of something? Speak to you on the next one.